Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday morning. It is 9:54 a.m. East Coast time, and it is the 19th of August of 2023. I want to wish everybody that was born today or this day in history a very happy birthday and many, many more. And if you're 196 going on 197 and it's your birthday today, I want you on this podcast this morning. So, happy birthday, everybody. And let's see here. We are going to go over the copyright disclaimers and all this other fun stuff before we get started, because we all know how they love to censor and, silence the voice. So, copyright disclaimer. This channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act of Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel, including William Nighthawk, declare fair use of any and all content, that's any and all content, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only per Title 17 USC subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. And that includes the music, too. Okay. So, that being said, alrighty. How many of you actually watched Into the Red Rabbit Hole last night? And if you did, what is the one thing that you have noticed as far as the Mandela effect? Okay. Just one thing. Just the one simple thing that you noticed that is different, that you know darn well it was the other way you remember it. Okay. So just give me one thing, okay? And then we'll get into this. I'm gonna put my one. This is the one that I really remember, and let's see here. The Fruit of the Loom. And also, another one I remembered is the Looney Tunes, the spelling of it. It was always TOONS, as in cartoons. I don't remember it spelled as in musical tunes. So, but that's just the two that stuck in my mind. That and Jiffy. So, let me go ahead and add Dennis and G to the show. Good morning, guys. Good morning.
What day is it and where am I
at? You stay up late last night, Dennis, again?
I sound like Joe Biden a little bit there. I need a handler. Yeah.
Yep. You need the bandit.
Yeah.
Or do you want to be handled by Smokey?
Right.
Oh.
Two rather nice young-looking ladies will be okay.
Anyways, let me go. What do you guys remember about the Mandela effect? What's your first thing that comes to mind?
That Chick-fil-A thing is what got me. Chick-fil-A. I remember that specifically, and I believe that without a doubt they changed somehow or another. That wording got changed. Instead of Chick-fil-A, it's got a dash in it now. It used to be one word, filet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Chick-fil-A. Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Mine was Jiffy, the peanut butter.
Oh yeah, Jiffy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
You know what's weird
think,
is what's changing now that we don't realize.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
actually, I'm gonna be addressing that a little bit on my next episode of Hunting of the Shadows. I believe that AI is being utilized and will be utilized to change our perception of our reality. I believe something is going in there and switching stuff around because a lot of authors are complaining about some of their books being changed without their permission.
Yeah.
They are trying to not only, and I've talked about this before, they're trying not only to change us physically, but mentally as well. They're attacking us on all fronts, and it doesn't surprise me that they're not screwing around with reality. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
I think CERN's got a lot to do with it. I think CERN has got a lot to do with it as well. But I believe there is the more evidence and research I do, the more evidence I see that there is a concerted effort by the powers that be to change a lot of things in our lives that we never gave them permission to do.
Well, let me ask you guys this though. What do you think about what Carlito said about the 2012 prophecy that maybe our original universe did end and we went to a parallel universe?
That's a possibility too, because parallel universes run coherently together. It would not be that hard for one to slip into another. When you think about it, what do you think, Geryl?
Yeah, I mean, when you get into the Mayan calendar and all that stuff, you know, who knows? I mean, the door's just open for any possibility that, you know, when the two timelines are together and there's not much to pierce the veil between one and the other, we could have just verged into the other one and kept on going and not realized it.
Okay.
That's very true. You know, our perception of reality, this is a non-scientific fact, our perception of reality is concurrent to the very environment around us. That means our social environment, our media environment, all these other factors that make up and that includes the communication like we're doing right now. You know, that's part of our environment too, and that's part of our perception of our reality. You know, a lot of people talk about the matrix and stuff like that. That would be the web work of our reality. Understand? But inside that web, you see only a certain perspective. Just like, you know, we used to have a saying, I know you've heard this before, you can see a whole lot more from the top side of a pit than you can from down in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanna wish an early happy birthday to Cynthia out there. Her birthday is on the 27th, so I wish her a early happy birthday. And you know, I want to say hello real quick to everybody. Stuart, good morning. Cynthia, good morning. Uh, let's see. I know there's more out there. Where are you guys at? I guess they're just not commenting, is all.
They might be drinking their coffee right now. And they can't reach the button.
Juno. There's Juno, my brother Juno.
Hey, Juno.
Man, Juno, one way or another, Tracy and I are going to visit Juno. So, good morning, Roger. All right. Crystal, good to see you this morning.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, let's see. I think that's everybody commenting. Anyways, the reason I asked that question is, do you guys think that, you know, a lot of this stuff that we're seeing like almost materialize in front of us and then vanishing before our eyes is just us seeing the next parallel universe over? Like looking through the thin water or rainfall wall and looking through
Like
the
a waterfall,
mirror,
yeah.
the waterfall effect.
I think time has a way of doing that.
Because I was
William.
thinking a lot of the orbs and stuff.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's what we
I was
in
just
the
thinking because a
paranormal
lot of the orbs and stuff that we see.
in paranormal circles we call that residual haunting. I think it's just basically really what you're looking back through time. And if you can look back through time, could you not also see, flip side of the coin, other timelines that are presently taking place? Think about that. You know?
Right.
Well,
Right.
well, if the other timeline exists, are they seeing our Jiffy when they used to see Jiff?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, yeah, that
And that
very
might
well.
be what
Yeah.
you're seeing. Yeah, that might be
Yeah.
what you're
Maybe.
actually seeing. You may be seeing another timeline. And just for a moment, we talk about this a lot, and I've said this about the shadow people. I'm not going to try to change the subject, but I mean this is kind of connected to it. Shadow people may be transitioning from one reality to another, from one dimension, whatever name you want to give it, in that respect. And so you're seeing them for just a moment out of the corner of the eye. You're seeing into their timeline. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it
Yeah.
that way. So that's a
Yeah.
possibility,
Yeah. Well, we all know the TV series called Stranger Things is based off the Montauk Project. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that they base it, the storyline off of that. So whether they messed with the timelines or opened a portal to a shadow realm, which shadow realms, to me, the perfect example of a shadow realm would be you'd have the cynic the same parallel universe, but everything would be opposite. Okay. Um, there, like for every good thing in your universe, it would be bad in that universe. You know what I'm saying? It would be complete opposite. So kind of like they call it the upside down world. So, but or the mirror world, and
Right.
that's another thing too. The mirrors. Everybody talks about, there's some people that are so afraid of being physically in a room with a mirror exposed to them that they cover it up
Mm-hmm.
before they go about their
Especially if they're a
business.
vampire. Especially if they're a vampire. We
Yeah.
have a big.
Yeah.
Listen to this. I'm not going to try to sidetrack you here a minute, but since you're talking about mirrors, we're having a big debate in some communities about why a vampire cannot supposedly see its reflection in a mirror. Is it because it doesn't have a soul? But a chair doesn't have a soul. You can see the chair in the mirror. We have a big debate about that. I
Yeah.
think what it is. Here's the whole thing that comes down to, and I'll let you get back to what you're saying. The reason I think the vampire can actually see his reflection, but doesn't want to see his reflection because it shows what he truly, the horrible thing that he truly is. And there's we could do one show on nothing but mirrors, okay, guys? Because mirrors are freaky stuff. They go way deep into folklore and superstition and supernatural things. I think, and I've had people ask me, do I believe that the opposite mirror images are where doppelgangers come from? That's an interesting
Yeah.
thing too. There's a very famous
Yeah.
Twilight. I know
That's a
you guys
very
have seen
interesting
this.
concept.
A Twilight Zone episode called what was the name of that? The Mirror or something like that. Well, anyway, they kept seeing their opposites in the mirror. You remember that? She was a train station or a bus station or something, and the woman kept seeing herself. I just wonder if that, could be a possibility.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they
What if
always
somebody?
I
What if?
think
What
that
if
the mirrors.
William? What if William Nighthawk came from another timeline, tried to take your place, William?
Yeah. Yeah. As long as he had a lot of money, I wouldn't worry.
or you
Leave the
always
money
see
when you go back.
you always see in the movies and stuff where you're looking in the mirror at yourself, but the reflection is actually your other self looking at you through the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's
Stuart,
That would. I
Stuart
don't like to
says
look in my
doppelgangers
mirror, but
come
that's
from
an obvious
Germany.
reasons. No, doppelganger is just a German name for what we call. Is what that really basically means. Is your own ghost, your personal ghost, a doppelganger.
It's,
Yeah.
it's probably just a clone
Yep.
made in Japan.
Well, Germans had some really long names for stuff. I like my favorite, the poltergeist,
Andre, that's
but that's another thing. Yeah. Noisy ghost.
yep. The soul catcher. That's what the mirror was originally called. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
they believe that.
Yep.
You know, when
Definitely.
you used to be, I've told you about that superstition. When someone died, they would cover all the mirrors in the home because they were afraid
Right.
that the soul would be captured in those mirrors. The spirit would.
in the same
Yep.
way with
Yep.
taking your picture, they don't like your picture being
Yep.
taken either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In
Oh
fact,
yeah, there was
there's
some.
still a lot of indigenous
That's
folk around the world
uh,
don't want
uh,
their picture taken.
A lot of
So
Amish sects don't want cameras or pictures taken either.
they believe a graven image. That's what the Bible talks about. The graven image is sort of a very supernatural thing. They believe that the Bible talks a lot about imagery, images, the image of the beast, the image of this or that. Your image is a very important part of you to a certain extent. It is part of you. I mean, it is basically a psychically soul connection thing going on there. Very much like a woman with her pocketbook. You know, they're connected. You never ought to ever see a woman without. Women are not as bad about that nowadays as they used to be. They used to go everywhere with a pocketbook. Now a lot of them don't anymore, but that seemed to be something that was psychically connected to them. But here's another thing
yep.
that is sort of really basically connected to you, and that's your name. A lot of people don't like their name called or used in certain aspects, and you can understand that, your reputation and all that as well. But that's a very integral part of you, your name. And according to the Bible, your
Right.
name has been known since way before there was any time, such a thing as time.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Um, my whole thing with the mirrors is them being used as basically doorways. I don't want to say the word portal because the word portal is just a temporary type of a thing, but a doorway, on the other hand, is
More
one that
permanent,
has to
yeah.
be opened a certain way. There's a certain way you open a doorway. Okay, it's
Hmm.
not the same time every time. You see what I'm saying? Um,
Well, that's that thing,
so I
I've
believe
talked about before. I've talked about before, William, about crossing mirrors. That's what you're talking about here. Crossing mirrors. When you set mirrors at a certain angle and look to them, it looks like you're looking through there forever. It goes into, and that would be a perfect way to go to pierce that veil into other dimensions. Think about it.
Yeah, we have an infinity
yeah.
glass upstairs that you put a candle behind it, and it looks like there's this never-ending candles going all the way down.
Hmm.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
that's the Sam
rituals.
effect. Yeah,
There's a lot of rituals connected to mirrors, black mirrors, especially scrying. There's a lot of real freaky stuff. Look like one of the worst demons of all, Bloody Mary, and look where she shows up at in the mirror.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, look at the movie Constantine, one of my favorite movies, by the way. But the movie
yeah, mine too.
Constantine, where he uses the mirror to capture the demon that's possessing the young person
Hmm.
in the first scene.
That
So
is based in fact, William. That is based in fact, without a doubt. Demonologists know demons hate mirrors. They absolutely hate. like I told you before, people used to keep demons out of their house by placing mirrors in every window facing out because demons absolutely hate mirrors. This is what connection back to the vampire thing I was talking about.
Mhm.
And I told this to Geryl too the other day. Um, the vampire, if he can truly see himself, but he can see himself for what he really is, you wouldn't want to look at yourself like that either. Think about it. I mean, it would have to be a horrible thing to see your true self. But here's a superstition that if you supposedly can take a mirror and find a sleeping person at midnight and hold it up to them, you will see their true form. And that used to be a way to find out if they were possessed or if they were a witch or whatever, or a werewolf, whatever the case. That mirror
Right.
supposedly would give you the true image of that person, but they had to be asleep and they had to be at midnight to do it. There's a lot of freaky mirror superstitions.
Yeah. Also,
Well,
if
I
you
mean, yeah,
trap them in the
yeah,
mirror, you're supposed to fracture the mirror so they can't get out because it creates that
Mm.
prism,
Yeah.
that
Oh
prism of
yeah,
too many
yeah.
doorways to try to get through.
hmm And look at the most famous traveler of all,
yep,
Alice in Wonderland. She went through what? The Looking Glass.
yeah, yeah. And what about Snow White and
Mirror,
the
mirror.
evil witch?
That's another Mandela.
Yeah, mirror.
Mirror, mirror
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Who's the fairest
So I
of them
mean,
all?
mirrors.
Yeah, the witch. The witch originally had the mirror. Remember that? The witch is the one usually.
Mhm.
Mirror, mirror on the
Yep.
wall. Who's the fairest one of all? And the mirror would talk to her. She had a magic mirror. Mirrors are really freaky things. And I'm gonna tell you something about one other thing about this scrying, this black mirrors that they use. That's necromancy. Actually, you're getting into necromancy. There, it's very dangerous stuff because supposedly that is another form of communication with the dead by using scrying as well. It's supposedly being able to see images of future events too. You're getting into
Right.
some very dark magic stuff, you know.
Yeah. True. True. I mean, even Aleister Crowley used mirrors in a lot of his enchantments and stuff. From my
Oh yeah.
research that I've done. So I
Oh,
mean,
that's a major part of the dark arts. Mirrors, definitely, or a pan of water will take the place of a mirror. That who used to
yeah,
do that? Remember that
yeah. Da
Nostradamus?
Vinci.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and Da
yeah.
Vinci used to do that too. Da Vinci got a
hmm
lot of his ideas from looking in the bowl of water and meditating. Now, whether he was on heroin, I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
because or no, not heroin, opium, opium. That's what they did back then. That's what they
Well,
did back
even
But
then
that's
was the
what.
opium.
even the natural streams and waters, people have said they've seen other images staring back at them.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And there are supposedly, according to superstitions and legend and folklore, that there are certain spirits that live in the water. The waters of the spirit,
Yeah.
spiritual
We
waters. Yeah.
we got Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, yeah. There's another one, very famous one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the water
Most
sprites and
famous.
the water nymphs.
Yep. You got water
You know,
babies.
the water
Yep.
babies. Yeah.
Water babies
The
and
water is a very
yeah.
spiritual thing. Like in the Bible, you've got the river of life, the water that runs through the center of heaven, and also Jesus said the Spirit was like ever flowing waters of life.
Right.
Water is a very spiritual thing,
So that would
definitely.
yeah, that would
hmm
mean that would make sense then because if water is such an adaptive spiritual thing and supernatural um object that can be used to create energy because of its energy that it has, mirrors would have that same effect. Mirrors would be able to absorb energy and to be able to
hmm
repel energy just like water would.
But
So,
look at look at Aleister Crowley you mentioned earlier, William. Look where his house was. Where did he move to be specifically next to what?
yeah,
Loch Ness, a large body of water.
yeah, right.
And in my studies and research over
Mhm.
the years, I have found a great occurrence of supernatural and paranormal activity always connected to local bodies of water. It seems, or streams, whatever the case may be. Even Bigfoot and Dogman sightings and other cryptid sightings are also associated with water. It's interesting, And like I told you before, water has been proven scientifically to have a memory.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Well,
does. It has a memory.
Well,
Yeah.
just think of us. Just think how much composition of our body is made of water. So look at the connection
Exactly.
of us and water.
How much we are water.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm going to put this out there then. I want to put this out here to you guys and everybody in the chat. Okay, so we have mirrors. We know mirrors are conducive to doing ceremony and magic and sorcery and all that. Okay, and supernatural things. We know water is, with the paranormal field, very, very, very connected because of its energizing factors of it, spiritually and supernaturally and paranormal wise. What about crystals? Crystal skulls have been known to record like computers. Crystal skulls have been found throughout history to be able to be accessed by certain people, by the crystal skull accepting that person as their owner, basically, and putting knowledge in their head. So crystals have the same effect as a mirror.
I've done a lot of research with crystals over the years. It's fascinating stuff. I believe that they sort of channel energy to a certain degree. They have that ability to channel energy, whether it be spiritual or physical energy, whatever the case may be. I've actually tried to take photographs through a crystal ball. I have it right here, as a matter of fact. You have to be careful where you put your crystal ball. Never put it in the sunlight. You'll start your house fire, okay? But I've shot actual pictures through that, trying to get into other dimensions. There's a lot of freaky research going on too now, and I want to get deeper into that with blue light technology. Blue light. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of the effects of what red light, which is infrared light, does and stuff and weird things, but they say that blue light may have the actual capacity to look into other dimensions or see things that are definitely unseen.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's why whenever I go out, whenever I go out,
Clark first found the crystal skulls and did all the studies on how many different ones throughout the world there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whenever I go out too, though, and do investigations, the first thing I'll grab is my UV flashlight, because I'm a firm believer that if you can't capture it in regular infrared or regular daylight or moonlight, then you're going to capture something in UV, because UV UV is a very, very adaptive tool to be used in the paranormal field. So.
Oh yeah, I have used UV effectively with cameras. But I would like to experiment a lot more with it in certain aspects with crystals. I think there might be a connection with that too. I think, what's his name, David Eckhart, the guy that has seen reptilians and all this stuff and aliens and all, has been experimenting some with crystals and stuff to see if he could capture images of these things.
Well, look at all the clocks and stopwatches and everything that has the crystals in them. You got quartz keeping time because it has a frequency that's steady.
Yep.
Well, here's another thing about crystals that people speculate. Crystals may be also very attuned to vibrations, not only physical vibrations of life, but psychic vibrations as well, spiritual vibrations, whatever name you want to call it that. There may be a distinct connect. Look at what supposedly was up at the very top point of the original pyramids, was thought to have been polished crystals.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. True. And whenever you think of crystals and stuff, you always think of of Juno brought up with the 411 missing people. Water is always present. Well, and the other element that is always present with the missing people is crystals, because with granite boulders, you have crystallization. You have crystals in granite. So, there is that connection also with the water and the crystals with the missing persons, which makes you think, well, maybe these people walked into a realm, another hidden realm, and maybe the energy field in the water or the energy field in the granite basically opened up and brought them in. So
it could be another way to open those doorways you talked about. I've thought about that a lot. A lot of where these places were supposedly doorways or portals, whatever name you want to call them, are situated. There may be a lot of crystallization in the ground around there or whatever. That needs to be looked into, because that could possibly be anything. And like what Growing Old with Purpose says, crystals can interact with each other. Oh yeah, definitely. Supposedly a circle of crystals can do some very freaky stuff.
Well, if you take in consideration where all these pyramids and temples are, there's supposedly a crystal vein underground that creates the energy that went into the temples and pyramids.
Oh yeah, and look at mirrors. They are a form of polished crystals, are they not?
Yeah. So we made that connection. To all these things: mirrors, water, crystals, and all that.
You got to bring fire into it too.
Well, actually, I was even considering the whole all four earth elements: earth, fire, wind, and water, because it's to me, it's something that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like wind, okay, you can feel it, you can't see it, you can't smell it, except when it starts to rain or you're having a rain forecast, then you can smell that sweetness of the moisture in the air. But just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, which goes back to seeing through water, seeing through mirrors, and seeing through crystals. Just because you can't
that's
see
what the study of metaphysics is all about, William. The connection between the seen and the unseen, and it runs through every actual part of our universe. And I think crystals could possibly, or these reflective surfaces, whatever they may be, could reflect back on different dimensions, different realities, or whatever name you want to call them. There's that good chance that may be what's going on with a lot of that, and a lot of things that people see. To see the unseen world side of the universe,
Well, you have the stories where people are out in open air, out in the forest, in the wilderness, about enjoying Mother Nature, and then the wind picks up and rustles the leaves and the trees and stuff, and it's almost like it's calling your name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually have that. Yeah, I have that happen in ceremony too. Whenever I give somebody a Native American name and all that, and I go through the ceremony and the pipe ceremony and I do the prayer, I'll always have wind kick up and just kind of like come right through me and the other people, and just that specific area, not wind all around us, just one wind gust, kind of like something coming in saying, hello, I'm here. Okay. And then leaving, So
well, there is a big that's another spiritual connection besides water is wind. So what we're hitting on here are the elements: earth, wind, fire, water, and all that. I think they have deep spiritual connections. The wind has, I think, with superstition legend talks about the spirits of the wind, like we're talking about the spirits of the water, the spirits in the wind. Oh, that's a big thing too. So what we're looking at are spiritual properties here, the connections to these spiritual properties. Definitely. Yeah. Fire has
and the one,
spirits. People supposedly can see spirits in fire, and a lot of the ancient people would study the flames of the fire in order to see visions of the future. Just like they did with water, and so and the earth, of course. The earth, of course, is known to be. That's where you put the bodies of people who are deceased. That's a definite big
yeah,
spiritual connection there on its own.
yeah,
Earth, wind,
yeah.
fire, and water. Yeah, there you
So, so what do you think the connection is with, say, the ancient astronaut theory, with the crystals? And I mean, because you have reports of crystals being found around volcanic areas, deep inside volcanic active areas, okay, where you have crystallization, and earthquake areas, and you always see the UFOs or UAPs, whatever you want to call them, orbs, lights in the sky, going in and out of volcanoes.
So that's like the connection with
So
ley
do you
lines.
think it's
Well,
because of the
ley
energy
lines
in the
may also
portal?
ley lines may
Yeah,
run
but I
across
mean,
these faults of crystal deposits. Think about that.
right.
Well,
Yeah. Well, I mean, because my whole question there is the fact that you've got volcanoes and you got fire. So we just got done talking about the elements. So maybe the fire is a way for them to teleport somehow, or go to a different part of the universe. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's just curious to me.
But like you said about UFOs and stuff being sighted
Go ahead,
along
G.
certain areas, I think ley lines may run concurrently with deposits of crystals in the earth. That's an interesting thought. That's where it channels that energy. And these things, these supernatural,
Mhm.
paranormal entities, even the UFOs and stuff like that, seem to seek out high areas of energy, like water, crystals, whatever the case may be. So you would definitely have that connection.
yeah, just like I said earlier,
Yep. Yeah.
those channels of crystals do create power with the earth, and so they do power the ley lines, whether we can see them magnetically or not. The other extraterrestrials definitely can see them, and they have the technology for crystals to power stuff.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Good morning, Yolanda, and good morning, Beth.
Shane's in the house.
And let's see who else just came in. Somebody
Country
else just
boy.
came in. Oh, Crystal Hippie. Yep. Yeah, I know Shane's in the house. Yep. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody here this morning.
There's West Coast Dog
Yeah,
Man.
I mean,
Hello, West Coast.
there's so many things that could be doorways. Yeah. There's so many things that could be doorways to whether it's a different place and time, or a different universe, parallel universe, dimensions. I mean, there's so many things. The one thing that I've actually noticed through my research of crystals, mirrors, and water and all that is the vibration. The frequency and vibration is I believe a major key in determining how to open those doorways.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
that's
I
what
mean,
Tesla said. Tesla said if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you got to think in terms of a frequency, vibration, and all that stuff. To me,
yep,
it makes perfect
yep,
sense. That would be what the fabric of the universe may be made out of.
yep,
Well, imagine what you could do if
yep.
you had
And I,
a crystal and you actually had a sound generator and you actually matched that crystal's frequency. What would happen?
yeah, I've been
Yeah,
trying to.
man.
Literally, I have. Dennis
And
can. Dennis can. Tell you, Dennis.
here's
Dennis.
another
You could.
thought.
Dennis could tell you guys out there that he's talked to me several times late at night, and I've been telling him, "Oh yeah, I'm on my frequency resonator, trying to work with certain frequencies." So I mean, he knows because we've talked about it.
Yeah, yeah. But they're doing experiments too with lasers and crystals. Lasers, and we talked about these, the DEW, the direct energy weapons. Would that not be a very freaky way to direct a laser using crystals?
Well,
Think about it, and that might be part of their research too. I've heard rumors to that effect.
And it goes back to how we started this conversation. They use mirrors to reflect the laser.
Oh yeah, that's without a doubt they do that. Just like you use that with telescopes to see images in space. You use certain mirrors inside a telescope. Mirrors are very important in that respect.
So if you have a mirror and a telescope, are you really seeing the visible world, or are you seeing through another dimension, seeing that stuff?
Exactly.
At times, my friend Graham Phillips has written a very good book. I was telling you guys about it earlier show, and it's and he had some very strange realities and time slip things going on. But they actually took a photograph of the spirit of this little girl in a mirror, and her ghost supposedly haunted this place. And she was always only seen in the mirror. You could only see her by looking in the mirror. You would see her behind you. That happens a lot in paranormal investigation. I tell people to pay attention to surfaces like that, like a mirror or a TV screen, or the tabletop of a shiny tabletop. Whatever the case, pay attention to those reflective areas. You may see something in those that you can't see with the human eye.
Maybe something you don't want to see.
Right.
That might be the case too sometimes. Might be right behind you and you don't want to know it. But that's why I tell people during investigations, take tons of pictures of yourself. I said, don't worry about taking the selfies. Take tons of pictures of yourself, everything around you, because you never know what's going to might show up in those images. I've had that happen.
Everybody need everybody to pray for Tracy because she's having a rough morning, a real bad morning physically. So
really,
I'll probably be taking her to the ER here a bit. So
we need to.
But
we'll definitely be praying for her then.
All right, let's see here.
The crystal skull couldn't create a computer of data, but upon the creation of the computer, and all of a sudden makes the dent in the computer output. Crystal skulls are freaky stuff. I've read a lot, done a lot of research on crystal skulls that have been found, and they still can't figure out how they carved those crystal skulls. They have all kinds of theories, but how could primitive peoples do something like that? I mean, it's such an intricate work with crystals.
With no
it's amazing.
Marks.
I've got a crystal skull here somewhere. It's not a real crystal skull, but it's a facsimile of one. And if why the skull? We got to ask your question. Why not a flower or a bird or something? Why the skull? Because it centers on the power of being.
Supposedly they're scattered all over the world. If you get the original 12 together, they start communicating with each other.
Yeah, that was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. Remember that?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
That supposedly the big theory is, Geryl. The theory is that these crystal skulls are really components of a giant computer. That once you were all placed them where they needed to be placed, it would open up a portal or something, you know.
Well, that's why I said they were communicating with each other, because Arthur C. Clarke brought that up, that if he was trying to search out and find all the original crystal skulls from each, I mean, it's almost like the movies, they had to separate them and put them so far apart from each other. But if you get them within their right location, they're supposed to start becoming active and start putting out information.
Mm-hmm. That's an
Makes you
interesting
wonder whether it be
observation.
good information or bad information.
That's an interesting thing there that Crystal Hippie Chick says, charge my crystals in my spring-fed creek. Well, water definitely would be a media in which to do some kind of charging. Definitely. It has power.
The moonlight. The full moon is supposed to charge crystals. Maybe that's how it activates the ley lines. Maybe the full moon.
And you know how water takes in energy, because if you've ever been sunburned swimming, you know what I'm talking about. It kind of magnifies stuff going into it as well.
That's probably why in the full moons they say the ER is always active and everybody goes crazy and all the police reports, because the full moon activates the ley lines. Then
I don't know about you, Geryl, but I hate it.
Frequency out there, everybody.
I don't know about you, Geryl, but I hate it when I get moonburn. That's bad.
Well, us werewolves kind of like the moon, so I don't know.
Well, I do kind of feel an affinity for the moon. That's my favorite nighttime object, definitely. I've been in astronomy for a long, long time, and I've studied the moon a lot. I've seen some freaky, weird things on the moon too. I've seen some very strange lights that shouldn't be there and things. The moon is a fascinating object. Really, science said it shouldn't be there. Science says, according to the physics of the universe, it really shouldn't be there the way it is. But I think it was put there on purpose myself.
Because it's artificial.
Another spaceship.
Oh,
so if nothing else with the elements,
sorry, I guess
we can all agree that Earth, Wind, and Fire was a great band.
Yeah, but they should have had the fourth one. They should have had the fourth one.
Yep.
Earth,
Wind, Fire,
one on that one. Water. Let's see. Oh, Country Boy Conversation. That's good to see you, Chris. Chris and I are going to be doing a podcast tonight at 8:00.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. MAGA stuff.
Yeah. So probably get us shut down.
Yeah.
Real quick. Tell Chris Chris needs to fool him. Say he's gonna have the show at like a certain time, and then come in a couple of minutes late or early, only just to throw him off a little bit.
Let's see. Man, I'm like way behind. These comments are coming in so fast.
The chat's flowing pretty good today.
Yeah, growing old with a purpose brings up a point.
Yeah, baptism is done in water. Water is a very spiritual thing.
About how water's used for baptism.
Yeah, that's that part of that spiritual connection. Says the Bible says you shall have springs of flowing water. In other words, that's an imagery of spiritual precepts.
Well, to me, being a human, we're in our mother's womb, surrounded by water, and then so when we're baptized, we're submerged and reborn out of water.
Out of water. Yeah. That's what Jesus specifically said. You be born of the Spirit and water. You know, that's what it's all about. So, the ancients, you go back to superstition, go back to folklore, it tells us so much, of things that we need to understand. It gives us a better focus, I think, on things. It's very important.
Yeah. Oh. Well, let's see. Yeah, frequency and vibrations, everything, I think. I really do. Especially when I found out that anything above 248 hertz is definitely opens up things. And I have a chart that I've written down on everything that happens when I do certain frequencies. So be interested to see if anybody else that does that kind of research has the same effect and
Well, if I were
results.
going to try to open a portal, doorway, whatever name you want to call it, that's the one thing I would be trying to utilize: vibrations, frequency. I think that's the key to it myself.
Yep.
Looks like we're having a lot of birthdays in our chat.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the prayers for Tracy.
So the other thing about frequencies and vibrations, you got to be careful because there's also vibrations and frequencies that can do damage.
Oh, yeah. That's where the dues come in. Direct energy weapons. That's been experimented on since back way before World War II, actually. Sound, vibration, light for weapons, you know.
See, they also use water and
Oh, yeah.
vibrational sound to break up kidney stones in the medical field.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now they're starting to use vibrations and pinpoint them to actually disrupt cancer cells in the body.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But so on the other hand, you also
Kind of
got to be
like,
careful that you don't use the wrong vibration to destroy good cells at the same time.
that's what you microwave your sandwich with, girl. Vibration. It causes the molecules to vibrate and rub against each other and therefore causes heat. You could do that with cancer cells. You could actually eradicate them out of the body. You'd have to be, of course, you couldn't cook the rest of the body while you're doing it. Of course, you don't want to do that, but you would want to zero in on those certain cells you wanted, and that's what they're trying to do.
Well, that's where
To
the
get rid of them.
do or the directed energy force comes from. It they're actually pinpointing to the molecular down to that level to be able to pinpoint the cancer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, if you really want to attack cancer, you have to start from the cell inside the cell out. Not from out in, but from in out. You'd have to go into the center of the cell and work on it from that direction.
Well, that's where the
it makes
nanobots
sense.
come in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yeah, I had my primary care physician review yesterday, and let's just say that the battle's
It is
not
never
done.
good, is it?
No,
Seems
the
like
battle's not done.
Seems
So
like it's always bad. That's the way it goes with me anyway. Seems like you never gaining ground. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know it's not good when the doctor gives you that long face.
Yeah.
Well, I've lost 20 pounds in the last month. And I've been really having a hard time breathing, catching my breath. I've been having dizziness spells and stuff like that. Even now, my vision is starting to go. I'm getting to where I can't even see the screen. So, yeah, the cancer is definitely the hardest enemy I've ever had to fight. This is getting tiring, and I think
Yeah.
that's why I've won so far, is because I've been fighting it with everything I've got, and I've been, you know, strong enough to demand that I can beat it, and put it out there in the universe. But I don't know if I can do it anymore. I really don't. Because the areas that it's going to, it's going to be a real test. It's going to be a real test. It's
Yeah.
affecting my heart now too, um, to where they have to keep an eye on my heart now, on top of everything else going on. So, it was a rough day the other day. So I just, want you all to know that. So I don't, I don't expect. I've already had survived twice. Miracles happen in my life. So I'm not really expecting a third one, if you know what I mean. Although they do happen, and it can happen. But I'm just not, I'm tired, guys. I'm just tired, you know, and I just,
Well, William, the longer the battle goes on, the more tired you get. That's just the way it goes. People don't
yeah,
realize that when you fight with everything you got. It takes a lot out of you.
yeah.
Well, we'll all be sending out prayers to you
Uh,
and Tracy, William.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate and love everybody too in the family. You guys are, my weirdo warrior family. So, Tracy and I love you all very much. We think the world of you all very, very much. Um, and we know you all love Jacob too. So, and Jacob loves you guys too. But it's been very, very trying. Every time I get beaten down, it seems like not only do I get attacked and beaten down with my conditions, then it attacks Tracy, and that pisses me off more than anything. That the
Yeah.
powers that be think that they can attack my family without without repercussions, and I may be physically not 100%, but I am definitely spiritually 200%. So repercussions can happen. So just putting that out there to the powers that be right now that you know think that they can ruin human life, take it and snuff it out and mold it into something that they want. And I'm talking the dark forces, Dennis and G, not the light. I'm talking the dark forces. And the dark forces are going to answer. They're going to answer one day for what they've done. So that is a consolation that I have. So,
They
but
definitely have no respect for anything or anyone, and they
yeah,
deserve everything they get back. That's my feeling.
yeah, yeah. And that's one thing I have around my property too. I know we're talking about crystals and all that, but at significant points in the property where we live, I have these huge rose quartz, and I mean they're huge. They're probably, I think the smallest one is like 5.5 to 6 inches in diameter. Just huge chunks of rose quartz that I have positioned in certain areas of the property, and and I think that is what basically almost supercharges the spiritual strength of the household. Is that rose quartz? That and several other things, several other aspects. So, but yeah, I'm a firm believer that quartz is definitely, and crystals is definitely the way to heighten energy, along with water and mirrors and stuff too. So, but I just thought it would be a fascinating subject to talk about mirrors and stuff like that today, because you don't really think about it when you're standing in front of the mirror shaving. And most people, when they shave, they don't really look in the mirror. They kind of get that feel for their face, or you know what I mean, or if they wash their face, their eyes are closed, and they don't really look in the bathroom mirror. But if you ever really looked at yourself in the mirror, you would see small, minute differences, almost like you are looking at your doppelganger.
Another image, definitely.
Yeah.
That's what you're very true on that point, William. When we usually look in the mirror, we zero in on one thing. We don't really look at the whole scope a lot of times, and that's when you miss the whole picture. You may miss the things like I've talked about that
Yeah.
are there or in the background, for that matter.
Now it might just be me, but
Yeah.
have you ever wondered when you close your eyes, look in the mirror, does your reflection close its eyes?
Yeah, kind of like the light in the refrigerator. Does it go out when you close the door, right?
Yeah. 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 That's a good point. That is a good point, though. Both of
I've
them.
seen some
So,
freaky video with a little girl in front of the mirror. Remember that? And she's
Yeah.
looking in the mirror. She turns around, and the image does not turn around in the mirror. That's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
You wouldn't want that to happen,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
I always, when I was a kid,
Well,
we would
guys,
go to the
I'm probably
we would go to department stores, and they had those mirrors placed that you could see your back of yourself. Remember those?
Yeah.
You could always found that fascinating. You get like a 3D surround thing going on. You can see everything
yeah.
around you. That's fascinating. I'd love to have some of those mirrors. That would
That's
be
why
neat.
they have all those mirrors in the haunted house and amusement
Yeah.
parks.
Mhm.
You can do some weird stuff with
Yeah.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in a lot of dark houses, and you usually walk in there, and there's a mirror. You immediately see it. What is that? Well, it's me. Yeah, that has happened too. A lot of people say, oh, did you
Yeah.
actually do an investigation in that house? I said, yes, I did. Said, well, how does it look? How does it look inside? I said, I wouldn't know. I was in the dark most of the time. Okay,
Mm.
I can't describe it for you.
So,
Most of the time, I was in the dark.
so William, before you leave, have you ever? I know you've done drum circles and stuff. Being Native American, you have that ceremony of drum circles. But have you ever thought about getting little
Mm.
speakers and doing all the megahertzes, 432, the 528? You're supposed to have a surround circle of vibrational frequencies coming to you, and you're in the middle with crystals or whatever you're drawn to.
Hmm. I've never really thought about it. One thing I have done though with the circles that I do, with the four elements at each direction, um, and then Father Sky and Makawakan, Sacred Mother Earth, um, represented, and then the without and the within represented, as far as the eight directions. Um, And what I mean by the 8 directions, I mean north, south, east, west, the above, the below, and the without, and the within. There's 8 directions, 8 sacred directions. And, we have to energy charge each direction in order to basically have things manifest and happen. And I guess if I would have had the time or the strength to do that kind of a research more in depth with the drum circles and stuff, with the vibration speakers and all that around in a circle, I probably would have, but at this point in time, I don't think I'm going to have that capability. I'm probably just going to focus on simple frequency settings to benefit me and the family right now, and our environment, because there's so much going on right now. So, but that's something, if I did, I would want to work with you guys on that. And Chiro, I would like to get Jane involved too, and just research it, because you think all the videos that you see on social media, and take this, guys, from somebody that's died several times and basically has a death sentence, but yet here I am, there's more. There is so much more to the vibration, the energy of this world, to control, or to have humans control their destiny through their creator. There's so much that we have forgotten. There's so many simple things. Like it's like you come into this world void of knowledge, void of anything, but expected to be that innocent, loving light throughout your entire life, okay, until you die, okay, and go on to the next level, all right? But we are corrupted. We are tempted and corrupted every step of our lives. We're taught things that aren't really factual, okay, growing up. We're taught basically free, and we're not free, nobody's free, we are what we are, but if we could tap in to that knowledge, that sacred knowledge that we've lost so long ago, through frequencies and vibrations and all that, I really think we could use the full capacity of our brain, which would make us superhuman. I really, really do believe that. And I wish
we could become, what you're basically saying is that we could become the true beings that we are meant to be.
exactly. And for some reason, the powers that be don't want us to have that capability. They withhold it from us. I mean, think about what we're taught in history. Columbus found America. Really? Columbus didn't find America. Columbus found a freaking island out in the middle of the freaking Atlantic. He didn't find America. Okay.
He was in the
Native
Caribbean,
Americans have lived in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid stuff like
That's
that.
like I said, we've been taught so much over the years that we're lies. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what they are. There's an old saying: a half truth is still half a lie. But some of these were full of lies here. The world's been explored and we know everything about it. and all these other lies that we were taught. I think these powers that be are very, very good at muddying waters because I think their number one objective, William, is to suppress humanity and keep us from becoming the true beings that we should be.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I'm losing you guys.
Starting to freeze up.
I'm losing you guys.
You're freezing up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we lost him there for a minute. We'll see if he hang on for a few minutes to see if he comes back. Those powers of be didn't evidently like what I had to say.
Well, I mean, just like we've talked about
There we
before,
go.
you can't destroy or create energy. So once we leave this decrepit vessel of what we call our human bodies, then we truly are free.
That'll be the only freedom we'll truly have until then. I mean, we are slaves to the system until then.
Yeah. Happy birthday, growing old. Yep. I want to wish happy birthday to growing old with a purpose. 70 years old. I don't believe that for the life of me. Sorry. I don't believe that. I want to see a driver's license. So,
Gotta
yeah,
prove
guys. I'm just, I'm at the point. I think I'm gonna let you guys continue this conversation. I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna check on Tracy, and if I have to, I'm probably gonna take her to the emergency room. Okay.
Right.
So, but I'll let.
Well, we're at the we're past the hour mark here. If you want to go ahead and start closing, we can do that. If you want to go ahead and close, we'll do that too. If you want to, fine with me.
That would be great. That would be great. I've got some things to do. So,
okay.
I got some medications I got to take too, and pick up medications that I can afford. That's the other thing that ticks me off. You have to fight these battles, but yet our own government makes it so difficult to get these medications that you need to fight these battles. And people like us, we don't have the physicality to get out and find the natural remedies anymore, so I've got to find them elsewhere. But I mean, I'm all for my oils and stuff that I make for my aches and pains and stuff, with the cinnamon oil and and all that, and frankincense and olive oil and all that, and cannabis oil. I mean, I'm all for all that, but and I'm all for the chunga, teas and stuff, and the spearmint tea for asthma, and I'm all for all the natural remedies, but sometimes the natural remedies just don't, because our bodies are so polluted from the BS that we've taken punishment over the years of living in this world. So our bodies are so corrupted, physically and mentally and spiritually, that sometimes we need the medications to get us through. But they make it so impossible to get these medications because it's so expensive. And
that just makes everything harder when you have to face that. It makes everything that much harder.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to be doing a few things, and I really, really appreciate everybody being here. Shane and everybody in the chat, we love you guys very much. Tracy and I think the world of everybody. As far as Tracy and I are concerned, you all are extended family. You all are family. And as long as we have breath, you will have breath. And that's just the way we feel. So, when I don't want anybody to assume that just because just because I'm physically struggling, that you know that I'm incapable of doing things to help others too. Um, so I just I just I don't want anybody thinking. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want anybody thinking bad of me for asking for help to pay for medications and stuff like that, because there are certain things that I do need um, to keep going, and that's why the GoFundMe's there. That's why but I just it doesn't it's not to the point right now where it affects me so much spiritually that I give up. Okay, because I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm just getting tired. Okay, I'm getting worn down. Um, it's like going 12 rounds with Mike Tyson and having both your ears bit off. You know.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Mike. I don't mean to put you out there like that, but you did bite the man's ear. Um, but it's just rough. Okay, it's just rough. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm gonna go take care of a few things I need to take care of, like my lovely wife. I'm gonna check on her and make sure she's okay, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. If you guys can let me know what topic you want to talk about tomorrow, um, that would be great. And then we'll just put it out there later tonight. I'll let everybody know what the topic is, or Dennis and G, you guys can let everybody know today while I'm with Tracy and doing the medical thing. So that would be great too. So, but I love you all very much. Thank you all for your prayers, your kindness, and just thinking about us means a lot. So, question everything, stay weird. And that's the other thing I wanted to discuss too. Okay. I haven't mailed anything out yet. Okay. I will get those mailers out to everybody as soon as I can. Okay. So just be patient with me. Okay. There's a lot of things going on right now, but just be patient. You will get, if I said you got stickers coming and patches coming, you've got stickers and patches coming. Okay. So just be patient with me. All right. But we love everybody very much, and we will see everybody tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Okay.